I'm 48 years old and my testosterone is 857. I take no drugs, no hormones, I never have. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to keep your testosterone above 800 after 40 years old. But those of you that are less than 40 years old, this also applies to you because I know there are a lot of younger guys in their 20s or 30s or even late teens struggling with low testosterone. So in this video, I'm gatekeeping nothing. I'm gonna show you everything I do to keep my testosterone above 800. Let's go. Overtraining will crush your testosterone, just like undersleeping will. If you need pre-workout to go to the gym, you are underslept and undernourished. Eat a steak and take a nap and go to the gym tomorrow. So exercise is valuable, but don't overdo it. How do you know if you're overtraining? I'm gonna tell you guys about the labs for testosterone in a minute, but I think the lab that's most useful is DHEAS ratio to cortisol. When your cortisol goes up and your DHEAS goes down, that's when you're overtraining. It's gonna be different between different people. I feel like I can train casually 30 to 45 minutes every day and not overtrain. If you're lifting weights super hard, you're gonna feel it when you're overtraining, right? You'll feel your libido go down, you'll feel your energy go down, you feel like you're not fresh in the gym. It's all kind of triangulated with sleep. I think the cortisol, the DHES ratio, and I'll put the optimal ratio here on the screen for you guys, is what you want to check for overtraining, and then just go with your intuition. I think most people can go to the gym 3 to 4 days a week and be fine. If you're going to the gym 7 days a week, just keep this in mind, guys. And if your testosterone is dropping, you might want to dial this back. When I'm in the States, I come to the gym almost every day, but I don't go crazy, right? I'm not trying to crush myself. I will do push-pull type stuff, but I'm doing push-pull type stuff with my legs. I like sled pushes and I like backwards walking. That helps my knees, the ligaments there to support for surfing, etc. And it's not too crazy. If I can do these outside, it's even better. Working out outside is a huge hack, guys. You're getting ultraviolet light from the sun, which has actually been connected with more vitamin D and more testosterone. You're getting infrared light from being outdoors, which improves mitochondrial function. Melatonin in all of your mitochondria come from infrared light. You're getting full spectrum light without the enriched blue like you get indoors. And the light outside is not flickering. That's stressful for our nervous system. You guys know this. The more time you spend outside, the better you feel. So if you can work out outdoors, even better. You're gonna support your testosterone even better. In the gym, I like to do sled pulls to support my knees. Shout out to Ben Patrick. And sled pushes. I do pull-ups. I do a little bit of work for my core, some flutter kicks or some knee raises. And I'll do some mobility stuff in the gym. I might do box jumps. And then I like to hit the punching bag. Again, do what you like to do in the gym. My gym workout is not magical. What we know is that strength training probably improves muscle mass and that supports testosterone. So do some strength training. Don't overdo cardio. That's gonna crush your testosterone. I like to do some mix of strength and cardio through the punching bag. When I'm in Costa Rica, I'm just surfing and doing pull-ups and some of maybe the martial arts stuff. So do what works for you in the gym, but don't overdo it. Don't crush yourself in training because that will definitely tank your testosterone and get enough calories. We know very clearly that inadequate calorie consumption will tank your testosterone also. So don't do that, right? Get enough calories. Later in the video, I'm gonna show you how I eat and how to compose your diet. I think that makes sense from an animal-based or just overall food for humans perspective. But don't restrict your calories. That's gonna hurt your thyroid, which is connected to your testosterone. I've got a sauna tip that's super important for you guys when you're at the gym to maximizing your testosterone. So follow me into the sauna here. I'm gonna show you a couple things. First thing is a sauna hat. There's actually pretty interesting studies showing that in a cohort of people, a sauna over 200 degrees Fahrenheit, mostly over 210, 215, actually increases dementia risk. So I always wear the hat in the sauna to protect my brain. And since this is a video about testosterone, I brought some frozen beef, it's on brand, to ice my nuts. There's good evidence that if you're in the sauna, this is affecting your fertility negatively, decreased sperm count, decreased sperm motility. And you can say, oh, I don't care about getting to be pregnant. I don't want kids right now. But here's the deal. I don't think you can separate sperm production and hormonal health. So when you go in the sauna, if you really want to protect your hormonal health, especially if you're over 40, ice your balls. You don't have to use a set of meat. I just did that for the video so you guys would appreciate that. But when I go in the sauna now, sauna hat and ice on the balls to protect my sperm because I actually do want to have kids. And again, this is a whole video about how to optimize your testosterone. So that's a great sauna hack for you guys. Don't sleep on those things either. You got to do everything right to keep your testosterone high as you age. All right, now we're going to my house to show you the food. So I'm back at the house and I just put all the food that I eat in like a day, obviously not the exact amounts on the table, but these are the foods I eat. There is evidence that all of this food in many ways supports testosterone production. The first thing to think about is what is not on this table. There are no seed oils on this table. There's actually evidence that consumption of seed oils shrinks your testicles. Yes, I'll put a study here for you guys So I'm not eating seed oils. I'm using beef tallow and I've got some butter. I got this from a butcher shop here in Austin called Radius, an amazing butcher shop. In fact, the meat is all from Radius, the stock is from Radius. There is a meta-analysis looking at fat types, and higher saturated fat diets were associated with more testosterone. I'll put a link to that one here too. I actually had the guy who did that study on my podcast a while ago. So your diet is probably one of the biggest absolute levers in testosterone production. What else am I eating to support testosterone? I'm getting enough calories. So I'm eating squash, blueberries, I'm getting honey. I love the lineage honey. Organic, raw, glyphosate-free. It's hard to find honeys like that. I'm getting fruit, organic oranges, apples, avocado. I don't fear fat. I don't fear sugar in fruit. I don't fear calories. I got some eggs, tons of nutrients in eggs that are supporting testosterone production. Selenium, B vitamin, vitamin A, choline, all of that is in these foods. I actually have some frozen liver in the fridge. I forgot about this. Boom. And if you don't want to eat organs, if you don't want to eat liver, this is where something like Heart and Soil comes in. This supplement has testicle in it, and testicle contains androgens. All of our supplements at Heart and Soil pass NSF and informed sports testing because none of them are contaminated with anything, but this one fails because it actually contains testosterone and androgens in the testicles. Whether or not that's part of the effect of eating testicles on humans is questionable. I think it's more likely there are microRNA and peptides in the testicle that are helpful for us. But if you look at the reviews here, eating testicle and animal foods both seem to support testosterone production. So I use 6 of these every day when I can't get fresh testicle. And it gives me an opportunity to get some liver in here also, unless I can get fresh liver. I've got some bone marrow here. I've got some beef broth, some beef stock for collagen. These are the foods that I'm eating. I've got bavette steak, grass-fed, grass-finished, getting enough protein. But the quality of your diet absolutely influences your body's ability to make testosterone. So what am I thinking? I'm thinking about getting 1 gram of protein from animal foods, either milk, this is raw milk, or meat, mostly from meat, per pound of body weight. I'm 165 pounds. It means I'm aiming for 165 grams of protein per day from animal foods. The amount of carbohydrates I eat in a day is dependent on how active I am. If I'm more active, more carbohydrates. My macros might not work for you. I probably eat 200 to 300 grams of carbohydrates a day, but I'm pretty active. If you need less, eat less. But I think most people do better with some amount of carbohydrates in their diet. And maybe there's enough bioindividuality here that some people even do better with low carbohydrates. But be honest with yourself, check your electrolytes, check your thyroid function to know how your body's actually doing based on what level of carbohydrates you're doing, either low or high. But I feel better, my thyroid is better, my testosterone levels are better when I get enough carbohydrates. When I was strict carnivore, my testosterone was around 500. Recently, I checked it, my testosterone is 857. But in general, with your labs, you wanna make sure you're testing testosterone, free and total, SHBG, full thyroid panel with T3, T4, free T3, free T4, TSH, reverse T3, fasting insulin. You probably wanna get blood lipids, you wanna get HSCRP, you wanna get homocysteine. Again, you have to know what's going on in your body. I have shown my blood work so many times, and this is why I feel very strongly about telling you guys every time I do a video about testosterone that I'm not taking hormones, I don't take steroids, I never have. This is completely natural. And you guys can probably tell, I'm not a steroided out megalodon, right? I'm just a normal human. I have a muscular physique and I'm proud of that at 48. And I have a robust testosterone at 48. My testicles actually work because of all these things I'm thinking about in my life. But check your labs. Knowing what your blood work has is a key component of all this. And I'll link to my blood work here. I've done previous blood work analyses. I'm gonna do a full recent blood work analysis to prove to you guys, look, my LH and FSH are normal. My testosterone actually is 857. I don't take enclomiphene, even though Greg Doucette accused me of that in the past. And I told him I'd bet him multiple ribeyes, so Greg owes me multiple ribeyes. I just have a healthy level of testosterone coming from my testicles because I support them in many ways, and the diet is one of those. I also take creatine every day, about 5 grams of creatine. All of this goes to support my health and my overall testosterone production. So let's summarize the diet. Get enough calories, get enough carbohydrates was a big thing for me, get enough saturated fat, and get enough protein. I prefer protein from animal foods. I prefer carbohydrates from things like squash, fruit like oranges, apples, and honey, glyphosate-free raw honey. I'm definitely eating some organs, some testicles, some liver. I'm getting some creatine, and I'm using animal fats, the tallow and the butter, and I love raw milk when I can find it. So this is how I eat to optimize my testosterone. I know if you improve the quality of your diet and you construct a diet like something like this, your testosterone is gonna go up. Absolutely. So that's what I eat. Let's go upstairs in this Airbnb. I'm gonna take you guys to where the magic happens, and I'm gonna show you how I optimize my sleep for my testosterone. So Let's go. All right, so we're gonna go up to the bedroom. Magic happens in here. By magic, I mean sleep. I'm in an Airbnb, so it is what it is, but I'll show you guys how I think about sleep, even when I'm in an Airbnb on the road. The first thing I think about is getting to sleep on time. So I'm trying to get to sleep at the same time every night as much as I can. When I'm in Costa Rica, it's just after 8 o'clock. When I'm in the States, it's probably just after 9 o'clock. And after dark, obviously it's the day right now, after dark, I'm really only using red lights. So these are portable red zero flicker LEDs. These are what I use at night. I walk around the house with these. So I'm very protective of my circadian rhythm at night and during the day. The first thing I do in the morning when I get up is I go outside and get sunlight in my eyes. I'm gonna show you guys that right now. It's 7:30 in the morning. I sleep in a little bit here when I'm in Austin, but I'm gonna show you guys how I do this. I just got up, I've got my band. I'm gonna go outside of the Airbnb and find some sunlight to get into my eyes. Come on, see it. There's some sunlight over there. I also do morning grounding at this point. Obviously in Costa Rica, I'm getting in the ocean in the morning as much as possible, which is super grounding. But if I can find some grass with dew on it, that's great too. It's much brighter outside in the morning than it is indoors. Even if you turn on all the lights in your house, it's much brighter out there. You can feel your pupils constrict. You can feel your body sort of reacting to the photons out here. And this is important. This is telling my body, okay, it's morning time. It's time to wake up. It's time to blunt the morning cortisol spike, that cortisol awakening response, which is what you want. And now it's time to think, okay, now I'm setting the clock and it's gonna be time in, 12 or 14 or 16 hours to then go to sleep. So, all right, I found some grass. I got bare feet. And you guys have seen me do this before, but I like to just stretch my shoulders while I'm looking at the sun. Even if it's cloudy outside, guys, in the morning or raining, it's still gonna be much brighter outdoors in the morning than it is indoors. And you're gonna be getting full spectrum light that isn't flickering. If you're absolutely in a very dreary place, you can use a light box. There are like 10,000 lux plus light boxes you can use in your house in the morning to entrain your circadian rhythm. But getting light in the morning is critical. And I'll be out here for at least 10 minutes. And some of you might be drinking your coffee in the morning or something. If you are drinking coffee, you gotta check out the Lineage coffee. It's definitely the best in the world. Organic, shade grown, pesticide free, mold free. I don't drink coffee, but if you guys are doing that, sit outside and drink your coffee or your tea in the morning. But this just feels like a good part of my morning ritual. I breathe deeply, I relax, I just kind of let myself come alive and awake in the morning with the sunlight. Even if it's rainy, even if it's cloudy, I will go outside and do this. Even if it's cold, I will do this. Obviously in Costa Rica, it's a little easier, but so many of the things I do in Costa Rica or here, you guys can do anywhere, but this is important and it's critical. This is how I think you should start your day for sure. And it definitely affects the symphony, the orchestration of all of your hormones. Back here in the bedroom, I'm thinking about red light at night and I'm unplugging all the devices. My phone is not in the room with me. It's not on, it's not emitting any RF EMF at night. I try to get the room as dark and as cold as possible. I think 67 degrees is about the optimal. The other thing I think about, and you guys might say this is too much, is the amount of CO2 in the room. I travel with a CO2 meter, guys. Right now, I've got the window open in here, but at night, I'm not necessarily gonna leave the window open because I want it to be cooler, but I want the CO2 to be as low as possible. There's evidence that if the carbon dioxide in your room is over 900 parts per million at night while you're sleeping, this can affect sleep quality. Obviously, we know the quality of your sleep is directly linked to your testosterone. If you're sleeping like garbage, the pituitary, the brain is gonna tell your testicles, don't make as much testosterone. Your LH and FSH are gonna go down. So if you have low testosterone and your LH and FSH are low, it's that your brain isn't telling your testicles to make the testosterone. A lot of that comes from poor sleep. This definitely happens in residency and medical school. Thankfully, right now, I'm sleeping a lot more than that, and my testosterone is much higher. So I'll leave the window open during the day to get the fresh air, and then at night, the window's closed, but this is a crazy hack. I actually turn the bathroom fan on in the bathroom. So I'll use the fan in the bathroom at night to exhaust some of the air, and that keeps the CO2 in the room lower. So when I wake up in the morning, the CO2 is around 650 parts per million. If I don't put the fan on in the bathroom at night, then the CO2 in here can be 900 or even over 1,000 parts per million. Baseline CO2 is around 410 parts per million when you're outside. That's what we like as humans. Anything too high is definitely going to affect your sleep quality. I travel with blue tape, and I try to get things even darker than usual here around the edges of the windows. You can see here, I actually even put blue tape over the red dot on the TV because I hate that stuff at night. And two things that I do when I'm sleeping. I think breathe right strips are awesome. Again, no affiliation with them, but they do open my nose up. And then I use earplugs. So I use the silicone earplugs at night. It just helps me sleep better to not have tons of noises affecting me. So sleep is critical, and I'm trying to keep this a pretty big sanctuary for sleep when I'm traveling. I didn't need to use them this time, but I also travel with trash bags that I will sometimes put on the windows to make it extra dark in here. So that's the deal with sleep. Obviously, I'm thinking about the quality of my bed sheets. More and more Airbnbs are higher quality. The sheets here are cotton, which is great. If it's polyester sheets, I'm bummed. I've even traveled with my own sheets in the past, but I'm trying to limit my exposure to those plastic chemicals as much as humanly possible. If I'm going to sleep at 9 o'clock, I'm trying to be in bed by 8 so I can wind down. I might listen to an audiobook on airplane mode or read a book, etc. But I'm really, really prioritizing sleep and thinking about all those things in the bedroom to get a good night's sleep. So we've talked about exercise, we've talked about nourishment and nutrition, we've talked about sleep. The last piece of this is your environment. So I want to tell you guys briefly how I optimize my environment to keep my testosterone high. It starts by avoiding plastic as much as possible. I never drink water in plastic. So check this out. Even when I'm traveling, I'm gonna find water in glass. I'm still trying to figure out what the best type of water in glass is. We did a bunch of testing at ABNRF, Animal-Based Nutrition Research Foundation. That's my nonprofit. So I Instacarted some stuff. I ordered glass, and they brought me some of these plastic bottles, which are a horrible facsimile. So this is gonna water some plants outside that don't really care about forever chemicals as much as I do. And I'm gonna recycle the plastic bottle. But this is not the same as this. So I'm trying to minimize plastic in every part of my life as much as possible. The meat that I got from Radius Butcher Shop has been tested, found to have lower levels of plastics versus Whole Foods meat. My clothes are not synthetic. This is a wool shirt. It's Amazon. It's nothing special, guys. These are wool shorts, and this is important, I have wool underwear. So you guys are getting the OnlyFans right now too, right? I have no affiliation with this brand, but my underwear is made from wool. I'm not wearing polyester underwear. There have been interesting experiments in dogs and in humans showing that when you sling your nuts in polyester, this can negatively affect the formation of sperm. And I got to think, like I said in the sauna, that that is connected with the formation of hormones. Obviously, you can't do it perfectly. Yes, some of the meat that I eat is in plastic. Yes, the raw milk that I got here in Austin is in plastic because I can't control it. But in Costa Rica, if I can control it, I'm getting it all in glass. And then I'm thinking about EMF in my environment. If you guys are rolling your eyes to this, I would beg you to reconsider. There's solid evidence now that if you leave your phone on next to your bed while you're sleeping, this can negatively impact sleep quality in humans. And there's evidence that if you put your phone in your pants, that it can affect your sperm, or even with women, could it affect your ovaries? So I really need you guys to know this. I always put my phone on airplane mode when it goes in my pants. If you see me walking around the grocery store doing content, my phone is always on airplane mode. What does that look like? This is gray and the Bluetooth is gray. A lot of times when people have their phone on, it all looks like this, right? It's blue. This phone is now putting out a significantly larger amount of non-native RF EMF. But if your Wi-Fi looks like that and it's white, it's still on. It's just not connected to a network. If you really want to have it on airplane mode fully, they both have to be gray with a line through it. That is fully on airplane mode. And I'll show you what it looks like with the EMF meter right here. So this is what the background levels look like right here. I'm in Austin. I'm standing a few feet away from the Wi-Fi router, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And then look at how much this jumps up when I turn the phone on. Oh, 2 million. It went from 1,500 microwatts per meter squared to over 2 million microwatts per meter squared. Your single greatest exposure to RF EMF, radio frequency EMF, is your phone. The Wi-Fi router matters, but your phone is your biggest exposure. Even if you live a few blocks from a 5G antenna or something, your phone is still the biggest exposure to you. So when it's in your pants, it should be on airplane mode. When you are talking to your phone here, like this, bad idea. Have hands free, at least move it away from your head. Use a speakerphone, use earphones. Don't use AirPods. I'm not a fan of those either. At night, when I'm in an Airbnb, I turn the Wi-Fi router off During the day, I'll use one of these. It's a Faraday bag that I can put over the router. If that doesn't work, I'll just deal with it during the day. But you can see here, all right, I'm a few feet away from the Wi-Fi router. I'm about 21,000 microwatts per meter squared. If I take the Faraday bag off, at the same distance, it's probably 5 to 10x. 56,000, 40,000. You can use a little Faraday bag on the router and often the Wi-Fi still works, but you can see it's significantly higher amounts of EMF when the Wi-Fi router is just on. So why would you want to leave that on? Why would you want that to be next to your head while you're sleeping? Why would you want that to be in your kid's room? Why would you want to walk around with a cell phone that's even stronger than that in your pants all day, or AirPods, which are stronger than that, in your ears all day? That's a significant amount of RF EMF. And people will say, oh, but RF EMF isn't ionizing. It doesn't have to be ionizing to negatively affect biological systems. They'll say, oh, RF EMF doesn't have enough power. I don't know, there's a significant amount of evidence and the evidence continues to mount. This RF EMF is maybe not benign for humans. So I just try to mitigate it as much as possible. I think if you're going to optimize your testosterone, you have to do a lot of things all at the same time. And if it feels overwhelming, just do one thing at a time. Don't be overwhelmed, but any little thing you can do is a step in the right direction. These are just all of the things I do, and it's hard to know from a broad perspective which of these things are most impactful, but it's easy for me now. These are all habits. These are what I do in my daily life, and the result is pretty good. My testicles still work well as a 48-year-old male, 857 testosterone. So all of those things together are critical to consider when you're thinking about optimizing your testosterone. So in summary, what have we talked about in this video? A lot of stuff, but I think it could significantly impact positively your testosterone. Don't overtrain. Get some sunlight when you're training. Train for strength. Get animal protein. Get animal fat. Don't fear carbohydrates. Get organs. Get some whole package from Heart and Soil. Get some testicles. Protect your circadian rhythm. Go outside. Get sunlight at your eyes in the morning. Go to sleep as much as you can at the same time every day. Protect your environment during the day with avoiding blue lights that are flickering, red lights at night. Think about the quality of your bedding, natural fabrics. Think about the CO2 environment in your bedroom. There's a lot of pieces here, guys. Open windows, get a dark bedroom. Quality of your sleep matters. Get a solid amount of sleep if you can. That's absolutely going to impact your testosterone. And then your environment. Avoid plastics. Avoid unnecessary RF EMF. Don't put plastic on your body. Don't drink water out of plastic. Decrease your environmental contaminants. All of those things together, I know that if you do them, that will significantly improve your testosterone. So hopefully this video has been helpful. Send it to someone you know who needs to bump up their testosterone. They'll thank you for it. I'll see you guys in the next video.